at home. And so as soon as they found out he was missing, everyone wanted to help.
Mm-hmm.
And all the things that Penny has done just recently, since she's come into the picture, I've already done right after this happened. I've contacted the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission about getting a videotape of who left the car there, because there's tapes of everybody coming on and off those on-ramps. And I was given the runaround.
That camera there doesn't record, it just views, right? The camera that's right there, I believe.
They told me that it recorded, that I could go there, fill out a piece of paper, and that I could get it. When I did that, they told me, no, a person couldn't do that. Somebody from law enforcement had to do that.
But see, and that's part of the problem. And what bothers me with this is what happened without minimizing it. And where I come in is the chaotic aftermath. And it bothers me when I see that there are easy fixes in the system that would save the family from having to go through this back and forth and reinvent the wheel. When your house catches on fire, you don't call up and order a fire truck, Mm-hmm. You call somebody who fights the fire, because that's what they train to do. That's what they know to do. You don't call somebody to ask you to borrow buckets, or where your garden hose is. You expect a level of service. And it's part of what's bothersome is there's another case that happened this past week with a missing girl. Her family lives in Virginia. She's up here with a boy. She calls every day. Now, every parent says that. Every parent says, my child keeps in touch with me every day, blah, blah, blah. You just got to be able to tell when they're telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
She did call her dad every day. Despite what she was going through in her life, she called every day. So when she missed 2 days, he got upset. He contacts the police up here, and they say contact the police down there. And the police down there say contact the police up here. That's the problem I have. And a simple thing that I would like to see the politicians do is, and you guys have a different perspective on it than I do, so you can tell me if this is a good idea or not, and feel free. You file a police report wherever you are, and that police department gets it where it's got to go.
Agreed. That would help.
That would help.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay, so if somebody goes missing in Philadelphia and they live in Reading and you are their next of kin and you're filing a report, you file in Reading, Reading gets it to Philadelphia.
Exactly.
Because it would go there, it wouldn't get misrouted, there'd be a better connection, there'd be communication, it would open a line of communication between departments right away.
Right, where the car was found.
Right. Because there still is that debate of, is it where it's found, is it where it's lived, and you can get bounced back and forth.
Right.
I've had a lot of that happen to me with both counties. And I said, well, I'm not getting one from this county, I'm not getting an answer from this county. Who's working on it? So if you're telling me no and the other county is telling me no, you have nothing. Who is working on it?
Right. And the problem is that the police departments, especially in the larger cities, are overwhelmed. They absolutely are overwhelmed. And I understand that, but that's all the more reason to ask for help. That's all the more reason to have better systems, streamline things. I don't think anybody's blaming them for the actual inception of the problem, but you don't want to compound it. And that's what you try and do whenever if you're helping somebody, you're helping them. You're not compounding the problem. And it is compounding it when a distraught family has to go through a legal maze to get stuff, and they get different answers, and you can get different answers that absolutely contradict between different people. And we've tried to get it standardized for years with the state to have a standard procedure, a checklist of 10 items that they have to go through with the family and make sure. But as I've done this, and it's only taken me 20 years because I'm not very smart, but I think you should just be able to file where you are, and let people who are getting paid figure the rest out, who do it all the time.
Yeah. I agree. And they shouldn't be asking the family member. Me as his mother should not have to call the different morgues to see if they've found an unidentified body. And that's what I was told to do, which I did every day for the first 2 months, until they finally said to me, there is a missing persons report. If we get a John Doe fitting that description, we have your phone number and we will call you. But come to find out that that's not true, because they had found 2 bodies that fit his description. There were other things that did not, because I researched it. But no one called me.
No, and it just compounds it, and it's because, I mean, in reality, they have to focus on murders and active crimes, and they go for crimes they can solve, but it doesn't change what's happening to you, and that's why I think in some ways that a missing person, first 3 days or whatever, it's a police matter. I think after that, it becomes more of a social service. And then when something's developed, it goes back to being a police matter, right back, But I think in the middle, it has to be kept alive. And I've been trying to do that for a while, and it just doesn't stick. And so you're calling the morgues. Mm-hmm. Nancy Drew over there is buying a fingerprint kit.
Because Penny has done a lot.
They told you to buy a fingerprint kit?
No, I told myself to buy the fingerprint kit.
But they know you're fingerprinting the car.
Yeah, they know. I told the cops, yes.
And they were fine with that.
Yes.
I even asked if they did fingerprint it, and they told me no, because they had nothing to go on, that it was foul play. I
asked them, until you knew that for a fact, why didn't you hold the car for at least 48 to 72 hours? If you don't have an answer then you start, tearing apart the car, getting your answers. They had nothing to say. So I said, well, I'll get my own kit. And chances are I won't find anything, but it's better than just sitting around and not trying to find answers.
I think you're going to end up covered with graphitis. I think this is the way this ends.
Anthony's worth it. That's fine.
See, part of the problem that isn't the fault of the police, it's the law, and the laws that protect us often hamper us. Is that Anthony's an adult doesn't have to be anywhere. And that's the first thing you run into in a missing person case.
Right.
And I think there needs to be a point where 2, 3, whatever amount of people get together and say, Wonder Twin powers activate. He's really missing.
Yes.
This isn't like him. Because there are times, and I have cases right now I'm working where a girl was missing and she wasn't missing. And the boyfriend said she wants to be with me and she doesn't need anybody else. I'm the only person. Then he just reported her missing and said she left him and she's missing now. And I'm like, no, one strike, no. You're out. Right. She's missing out in the Midwest now. It's like, good luck. But what are some of the things that you've encountered in the process that you think could be changed to make it better for people that are going through what you're going through?
I think if they called you with an update, when it first happened, they arrived at my door. The state police came to my door at between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning and said that they had found his car. And asked me a few questions. When was the last time I saw him? Basic information. And so that had happened. Told me what was in the car when they found it. But that he wasn't with the car. Then I get a phone call from Philadelphia police that where the car had been found, that the car had to be picked up or storing charges were going to take effect because they had towed the car. So his father went down and got the car and noticed that there was plenty of gas in it and it didn't break down. It started right up. So that answered whether he broke down. or had a flat tire when all the tires were fine. And everything was still in the car that the police had told me was found in the car. They had left in the car. They never checked it out. They never looked through it. The only thing they did was get his license out to find his home address to contact me. And that was all we heard. Then the very next morning, I called down there, and they had said you have to wait 24 hours and file a missing persons report where he lives. So we did that, and it's a very small town, and there's very limited amount of manpower. And they kept saying that they were going to check with the city. The city kept saying that they were going to check with them. And it just got me bounced all over the place till I was on the phone day and night for 2 months. And it gets very wearing when you don't know where he is. And this is out of character for him. So I think that something in the system needs to change as far as take me from point A to point B. Don't tell me to do it. Somebody needs to do that. Or there needs to be something in the interim. I don't know exactly what needs to be done. But there's got to be something better than me sitting and thinking of scenarios that could possibly happen and then investigating it myself. And now that it's been so long, now somebody else is retracing it. Thank goodness Penny is doing this for us. And she can't find anything out any more than I could.
Well, we do some family advocacy not because that's what we do. What we mainly do is we search for missing people, dogs, blah, blah, blah. But we saw the need come up because we had people who were stuck in that state where you were, it was years ago, it was a case, and family called, and I said, we can't help you. And it was on Easter, and I remember I went back, I was doing work, and I was like, when did you become that guy? The can't help you guy, and you have to give people the alternative. That's how I started talking to Penny, and then subsequently meeting you today, was because there's so many ways the family can get re-victimized financially, emotionally during the process that's not being taken care of during this. It's just compounding it. I think that if anybody, and I know you were worried about time, but we're already out of time. See, we shot through the half hour, but we'll do a little bit of after show. Anthony Capasso went missing on March the 4th. His car was found after a trip into the city on the westbound ramp 76, heading out of the city line avenue. Anthony was 6'1", about 317 pounds. Big boy. Big boys don't just vanish. Nobody just vanishes, but big boys don't just vanish. Just doesn't happen. And if anybody has anything that can help with this, they can legitimately help, then send us a message, unsung at unsung.us. It's on the webpage. It's on any of the links for the show, and we'll get it to the family. And one of the things that I want to say before we go to after show, and we'll just do a quick after show, if you see a missing person, don't be the person that calls up and say, oh, I saw the person. Because in my history of people doing this, nobody has ever gotten a number from the person, given a number to the person, or taken a picture of the person to validate it. Do that. So we'll do a little bit of after show, Russell, and Penny had something to say that I wanted to get. Yeah,
like Flora was saying, when you call the police station and they, you want some news. I was told no news is